Hello, everyone. This is the Jimmy Hitchcock podcast, a talk about the truth. It's called POAST, POAST, the real truth. Plan of action, stop talking.
Yes, this is the second part of a three-part series of my plan. I'm going to get right into the plan. It's the mission statement. All right. We, as an African American community, we have a lot of ills in the community, right? But when people are talking about putting together plans and they're not talking about putting together economic plans or having any economic plan whatsoever, there's no plan. There's zero plan. When you talk about marching and things like that, protesting, that's fine. But if you're talking about creating a plan and there's not an economic plan involved, there's no plan, right? So that's the one thing that I would like to say to people out here that are putting forth plans. And what this is for me is just a conversation starter, right? Do I think anybody's going to follow my plan or come forth and come to my organization? I hope you do. I hope you do, because it's not a bad plan. It's a plan that could probably be tweaked a little bit, but it's not a bad plan. I don't think it is. I think it's a pretty decent plan, and it's very doable in a quick manner. Any plan out there that's not going to produce anything very quickly is not a good plan. Period. The ills that's happening in our community are emergencies, state of emergencies for our community. So if you're talking about doing things like putting together these groups and committees, and you're going to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and you're going to write things down and put them up on a board and put them up on a whiteboard, and the next meeting, you do the same thing over and over and over, you're not doing anything. All you're doing is just feeling out each other and having a little kumbaya, but you're not doing anything. The things that we do in the African American community is just what I just said. We kumbaya, we talk. That's why I named this podcast POAST, with all intentions of doing this plan. I fiddled around a little bit and talked a little bit and did some other things, but I wanted to try to introduce it at some point in time, right? But I just said, this is the best time to do it. All right. This is the best time to do it. And the thing that I want you to understand is I don't care who runs it, who operates, who's the CEO. I will be on a board, right? I will be on a board. And you will not be able to take me off the board, because I want to be able to see that the company is going in the right direction and the organization is going and being steered in the right direction. That'll be my job, because I'm not materialistic. I don't really care about money like that. I went through a big situation in my lifetime that made me put money in perspective. And that situation taught me that nothing's more important than your integrity and somebody's willingness to look at you in a trustful manner. Those are the two things that I learned that are most important to me. So when I say something to someone, I want them to be able to trust what I say. That's super important. And I lost that at one point in time. I don't want to lose it again. Without saying too much, I talked about the situations that that put us in the position that we're in today as far as our community is concerned. Those are the things that I talked about. I left some things out. It's a lot more that I could have said, a lot more that I could have pointed to, and a lot of points that I could have made that I didn't make. Like, fentanyl right now. Fentanyl is devastating in a major way in our community, but it's also devastating the other communities too. So you don't hear much about it. You don't hear much about what the devastation that's happening with fentanyl. You know why? It's because it's being shared through communities the way people are dying. But I bet you, if it was just the Black community, there would be a nightly newscast about Black people dying from fentanyl and doing drugs and selling fentanyl. It would be a nightly news operation, and it'd be on every single day if it was just Black folks. But we have a drug problem in America, and people need treatment now. Right? So that's the way it's being approached today. But I bet you that fentanyl, was aimed at the Black community. Just like when they went to Afghanistan and brought back some more poppy, tried to do another heroin run, and there was a lot of pills on the street with that opium in it. Right? So there's still devastation happening. And just like I said before, in what they did to Durham, North Carolina, when there was hundreds of Black businesses in Durham, North Carolina, what they did to Durham, North Carolina is what they continue to try to do today, which is destroy us with the drugs in the community. Push it in the community. That's what they continue to try to do today. Yes. Are we complicit? Yes, we are. We are complicit. We help with the destruction because we become so materialistic. We become a people that we just want that money like they want the money. But we just don't have it in our DNA. It's really not in your DNA to not share. If you didn't know. We come from a place of abundance. So written in your DNA is sharing. Abundance and sharing. That's written in your DNA. And this is what my plan is about. It's about sharing and a way to share that's different than the current capitalistic system that we have today. And what we're doing as a group is we're going to form an organization that launch cooperatives. Okay. And when you have a cooperative, you have a democratic establishment in which everybody has a hand in this and has a say so and a hand in building the organization or the business out. How fast can we get a cooperative up? Pretty quickly. You can get a cooperative up pretty quickly. What is needed is an economic model or plan that you can take to the community where everybody can participate. That's an economic solution to our situation and our problem. If we don't have something that's economic, again, I'll say it again, you have no plan. You have zero plan. And the biggest thing with the African American community is we have no money. We have no wealth. Yeah, we got some big time ballers out there doing their thing, rappers, artists, things like that, athletes. We have that. We have a few. But as far as generational wealth and wealth building in America, we don't have it. This is a report that came out talking about wealth, African American wealth. And they said by 2053, African Americans will have zero wealth. Zero. Because of our lack of participation. in the new economy, AI and all the mathematic sciences. So by 2053, we will, as a community, be broke. And in 2013, the Latinos passed African Americans as a group with more wealth. Now, that's really, really, really poignant, and a point that should really be looked at. They just got here yesterday, right? A lot of them just got here yesterday. Yesterday meaning like 20 years ago, or 15, or 25. That's yesterday compared to our 406 years that we've been here. Right? So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to continue to talk about it and meet? Meeting is what we do. We love a meeting. We love a meeting. Everybody can get up there and spill and talk and say real pretty words and do all kinds of things. You know, we have the most beautiful rhetoric. We are orators. We are great orators. We've had some of the most incredible orators of all time. But at this point in time, we don't need an orator. We need a person that's going to help put boots on the ground and get some work done and build something and leave a legacy for our children. That's what we need to do. Yeah, I mean, I can, if I wanted to, I can create some beautiful speeches too. But I don't do that. I just get on here and talk to you. I don't prepare anything. I don't prepare any type of words or anything. I probably should get a script because you may think, hey, I'm skipping all over the place. But I'm just telling you what comes from my heart and my mind. Things that I've been thinking about for a long time. Right? So I've talked too much, and this is what I continue to do. This is why I keep doing. I've done this over like, I don't know how many times, but I've done it over and over because once you start talking about this thing here, if you have passion for the community, it's going to come out. Right? It's going to come out. Especially when you're talking politics and things like that. So politics for once is not going to be involved in this plan, because we don't care about politics. We just want to agree on a few set of principles, right? That's it. A few set of principles: hard work, incredible customer service, and frugality, and making sure the money goes into the right place. That's it. We want to get the most out of every penny that we put out there. Those are the principles that we can agree on, and we can move forward. We're not selling anything that's illegal, and we're not going to back anything that's illegal. Okay, so the POAST organization mission is basically service to the underserved communities. Of course, that's what it is. We're just trying to get it to where we can serve the community in a way that helps the community. We need people to come back into the community. We've had such an incredible, mass exodus out of the community, and we went to the suburbs, and then they came back to the city, and we came back to the city. You see what I'm saying? So the whole thing about the GI Bill is we wanted to. They went out to the suburbs and built the whole suburbs for them. And then when we aspired to go to the suburbs, they came back to the city. Turn all of your property that was just hardly nothing into multi-million-dollar property. Right? So our commitment to the underserved communities have to be there. That's why I started this whole presentation off with that. Okay, of course I did yesterday. Yesterday was about, the systematic destruction of the Black community. But today is about how we bring that community back up. And how we bring the community back up so we can have a brighter future. All right. And, if we make it a collective effort, how we can do that is to bind together under one organization. If we continue to bring about organization after organization after organization after organization, nothing's going to happen. I know that there are so many bright, incredible people out in the community. I know that there are so many incredibly bright and incredibly wealthy, incredibly energetic people that can probably create things that I can't even imagine. But you haven't brought anything forth. You haven't brought anything toward the forefront so that we can look at as a plan of action for the community. You haven't done it. It hasn't been done since Jesse Jackson. Right? So it's been done kind of here and there in little separate ways. But if we think about it, since Jesse Jackson ran for president, there really has not been a lot of talk about trying to reconstruct the Black community. No, Barack Obama, he couldn't do it. Right? Barack Obama was a great symbol, but of course he couldn't do it. Right? So at what point in time do we do it ourselves instead of looking to someone else? This savior complex that we have to get rid of, right? Because nobody's coming to save you. We need teams of people. Teams. We need to build teams around the country to do what this plan is, destined to do, which I think, and if it's not destined to do anything, if you think it's just a flop, you can tell me. I don't have an ego. We can change it. But basically, the premise around this organization and the premise of what this organization is a central organization that what the premise is behind this company is a central organization that spits out cooperative business structures. Okay. We will spit out some structures too that are just for profit. But the first foundational businesses that we build are businesses that already exist, that we can follow the pattern and build those businesses out. And that's those businesses that are readily here, that's here right now, where people are using their car and things like that for, to get on these apps. So what we have is a central organization that spits out cooperative structures. It's about service to communities as well as it is economic empowerment. We want to invest in infrastructure and we want to put these businesses in these neighborhoods that we're trying to actually do business in, one, and we're trying to reconstruct, right? We want to reconstruct neighborhoods by putting businesses in it and supporting businesses that are there, and help people provide. We're gonna help provide people funding for some of the businesses that they want to start. Right. So I know it sounds like a lot, but I'm just putting everything out here. I'm just throwing everything out there. That's things that I, in my heart, feel like we can do if we put our mind to it. Right. All we have to do is collectively come together. Hell, you pay I don't know, 20 something dollars a month to Netflix. Right. Pay 20 something dollars a month to Netflix. $18 a month. Mm, we get 1 million people. Okay, that's 18 million a month. Dues that's coming in. Um, just that alone, that'll have a huge impact on the community. All right. So we need money. Right. We need money like there's no tomorrow. Like money is the main focal point. There's a lot of other things that I want to say, but I'm not going to say it in this setting on this app about development later on. But these are the basic principles of the business. We launch cooperatives. Some of these apps out here are very predatory, and these predatory apps are making a killing. Some of them are making a killing. You're talking about Uber's. Last I checked, they had over $6 billion in the bank. 6 billion. Imagine that in a cooperative structure, how much we could use $6 billion. Would it be $6 billion? Okay, and they got a little bit of COVID money or whatever, but they still got plenty of money made by the driver. The driver. Not only does Uber, like, are they predatory, but they are malicious. Like they should be taking court on a class action lawsuit today. Today. I was doing Uber, and I mean, I'm telling you, like, there's nobody to go and take it up because they're not going to get any money on the backside. On the front side for a driver. So on the front side for the driver, they're not going to get any money, but on the backside they would if they take it to court. But they don't want to. But that's one of the most predatory businesses out here is Uber, right? And why are they predatory? You put somebody in the back of your car, you're driving them, and they're offering you 35 cents a mile. Hell, 65 cents a mile is what the government says is minimum wage, right? The government says 65 cents a mile is minimum wage. That's what you can write off. That's what you can write off to, on your taxes, 65 cents a mile. But they'll offer you a 35 cent a mile ride in a minute. And it's often that they do it. Some of these other apps are predatory also, but the most predatory is Uber. It's Uber. And why do I consider them the most predatory? Hell, you got somebody in the back looking over your shoulder. You don't know who that is. You're basically using your car. You're paying Derek Khashoggi millions of dollars. He's the CEO of Uber, and he's making millions of dollars on you, right? What we want to do is turn these businesses into cooperative business structures and give the money to the driver. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. These apps that are predatory, we should be able to create our own and give the money to the driver and take a small percentage. A small percentage for keeping up as far as the IT is concerned and paying the workers. All right. So the IT, but the AI, the way AI is built today, AI can really take over and do most of the work on the IT side. We just need a few people and a great servers in space. All right. And then we'll have some people that go around and solicit business from restaurants for later on. But to start up the ride shares should be pretty simple and pretty easy. The only thing that's going to come in the way is politicians. We need to buy them off, like they do. Just we need the money to buy them off. And what we what we can do is get the we need is a regulation about taxis. We need to follow the regulations, but we also need to put money in these pockets of these politicians. That's how it works, right? So that's the first business I think we should start, which is Hitch a Ride. All right, that's what the name of it is. My name, they call me Hitch. Hitch a Ride is the first business cooperative that we will start. The cooperative will be for the people. It will not be a predatory business that takes all the money from the driver itself. It'll be a business that gives the money to the driver and let them pocket the money because they're using their car. They're putting miles and miles and miles on their car. And sometimes it gets so bad that especially if you don't have a good car, it could totally bankrupt you because you're going to need a new car. You're going to need a new car. But the business that we run, the business structure that we run will allow you to buy a car very easily. In fact, we'll have some cars on deck that you can drive. We'll have some Priuses on deck that you can drive, that you can rent for way cheaper than what Uber's renting their cars for. Yes, Uber rents cars too, to the drivers to drive. And then they take exorbitant amount of fees off of those Teslas and things like that. It's ridiculous. They pimp the driver. So what we can do is take that from them. Take it from them. We can set a date. Uber goes out of business on this date because they're predatory. And you can't really run a business, a share business where you're sharing your things. You turn that into a publicly traded company. That it really can't happen. Doesn't even make sense. You can't really do that. All that business was a data collecting business at one time. That's all it really was. And then they try to make money on it and turn it into, publicly traded company. It was a data collecting business. But now they're trying to make money for shareholders. And every time you try to make money for shareholders, somebody's going to get screwed. In a business like this, how can you turn a business that you share, like you share your house with somebody else and not becomes a publicly traded company? It does not make any sense. Sometimes we fall for some of the biggest scams, and Uber to me is the biggest scam available. That's on the market. It's the biggest scam ever in job history. And if you don't believe me, just get into it and do it a little bit, and you'll start to see. They treat you good for about 2-3 months, and then they start giving you all kind of craziness. But what I'd like to do is put up Hitch a Ride. And Hitch a Ride will put that money in the pocket of the driver. The least you're going to probably make is $24 an hour. Uber doesn't pay that. And then there will be some surges and things like that. We'll if I know, because I did a bunch of rides. If I know you, driver, you will want to be able to set your own prices. They tried something in California, which is a scale of 2 to 3 and 4 and 5 times. After concerts, what's going to happen? You're going to get stuck, and you're going to be stuck in in the muck and the mire and traffic, and you're going to be sitting there for a long time, and you're going to have one person in the back of your car, but you need to take 2 to 3 to 4 to get money, but you can charge that person 3 to 4 to 5 times, and they can pay it because a lot of times it's a group, right? And they can split the cost. That's just one thing that we'll do in Hitch a Ride, right? So we'll set cooperative business structures that are for the driver, for the people. We won't be collecting all the money from the CEO. Got a $40 million signing bonus. Not a signing bonus. That's NFL football I'm talking about. But a $40 million bonus at the end of the year for hitting his mark as far as the profits were concerned. 40 million. 40 million. $40 million. Now, what could we do with $40 million in a cooperative structure? Anyway, let's go on. Let's move on in this this presentation I'm giving you, because I want to get through to some of this, through most of it today, and then give a synopsis and I just want to kind of give a overview on my next podcast, because I've been doing this, and I said at the beginning of this, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm saying, I turn it off, turn on, delete. But this time I'm going to put it out. All right. So just like I said, what we're trying to do is service all the way around. Service to the workers, service to the community, service to everybody. What we want to do is have incredible customer service and be humble enough to give service at a high level, like the Chick-fil-A people. Like the Chick-fil-A people can tame some of these people that I didn't think could be tamed. Like, this generation is crazy. And these young people, they don't have any respect. But when they work for Chick-fil-A, boy, they have a lot of respect and give you a lot of respect. I don't know what the hell the Chick-fil-A dude is doing with his businesses, but he's doing a great job of transforming people. And we sure do need a transformation in our community. Because when I go to these businesses in our community, sometimes I don't know if I'm going to have to fight or I'm ordering it. I just don't. I don't get it. Like, the people approach you in crazy ways and manner. You're supporting the business in the community, and they come at you like you are doing something like wrong, or they deserve. It's an entitlement that I'm coming into their establishment. I really don't get it sometimes, but we can change that. We can change it. We can show them how it's done, because some of them just don't know. Some of them are just ignorant to the fact, because nobody's taught them how to be respectful, polite, and kind to someone that's buying something from you. Imagine that. Kindness when someone's spending their money in your business. It seems like it's common sense, but not these days, right? So let's kind of change this reality of how we treat people that we just meet, that's actually taking money out of their wallet to give your business or give something to the business that you work for. Because they're actually, I don't know if you know it, I don't know if anybody's told you this, but the money that the person hands to you in that business is paying your salary. I don't know, young people, I don't know if you know that the actual money that's coming out of somebody's wallet or pocketbook that's coming towards you when they hand the money to you, it actually pays your salary. So you treat the person with kindness. That's what we lack in our community. That kindness and the humbleness. A little bit of humility is not a bad thing. Just a little bit of humility. Just is not a bad thing. It's okay to be humble. You don't have to put on your warrior suit every time somebody comes through the door. I know sometimes you get the drunks and you get the druggies and things like that. I get it. But you could even be kind to them. Guess what? It's not that hard. Right? I see them all the time and I'm kind to them. They're kind to me. I talk to them. They talk to me. It's okay. What I think's happening is that you have a different attitude about people because you've been taught that. In your mind, you're judging that person or you're actually rating them on some type of scale that's in your mind. But the first scale that you should rate them on is that human being scale. The human being scale is the only scale you should rate them on. Because a person is a human being. Now, if somebody do something to you, that's different. But we're talking about regular old people going to and fro. Treat everybody with kindness. Serve the people. Service is super important. That's how Chick-fil-A is. They got good chicken. It's not that good. But people just come back to that place because it's incredible service and people are kind and nice. This is the way you make money. They should be an example for everybody. All right, let me go to the next slide. What we're going to be doing is addressing a lot of needs with this company, right? With this organization. We're going to address a lot of needs. And we're going to build a capacity in the community. And, this grassroots organization will do things on a national level as well, right? So we're hoping to go national. We're going to start right here in the Triad, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point. We're going to start it right here in the Triad, right? If we get a lot of funding, we can go elsewhere and start in other places, but we start right here in the Triad and just get it going right here in the Triad where I exist, right? I live right here in the Triad. I live in Winston-Salem. So it's not hard for me to get to and fro to Greensboro and High Point. We start an organization here and we fund that organization here and we branch off to next place would be the Charlotte area. Next place after that will be the Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill Triangle area, right? We try to encompass North Carolina, right? That's where we start, okay? So, but in every single place that POAST exists is an organization that exists. A POAST organization that exists as well as the business structure exists. So you'll have a person that's the director right there of this cooperative, right? And you'll have a person here or there, or you might have a person doing all three cities. But you go have a partner or a co-director. We'll figure it out together. But these are the thoughts in my mind. All right. Again, service to the underserved communities, advocating for the community, collaborations with the community, right? Doing things like building gardens, things like that with kids, helping out with the food insecurities in the community. We'll build businesses as well in the grocery stores and things like that and have things like, markets. On Saturday, we have like vegetable, fruit markets, things like that. As well as doing our business structures. I mean, I'm saying a lot of, but it could be done. It just takes people. It takes people and dues, fees associated with it. And once people start to make money, and once people start to understand that this is a viable way to make money and it's a business structure that's that's sustainable and viable, there will be a lot more people to come, right? People will be watching. People will be watching every day as we put this information on the internet about how much money we'll be raising, right? It'll be an exciting venture if you're willing to participate. I will need a board. I will need people in various places in various positions. We know what those are. Right. So the collaboration will be a group effort. And we will go every step of the way of building out these businesses together. We'll have votes. We'll have online votes of where it should go, what we should do. There's no way that we can go underground anymore because there's just so many ways to infiltrate, to come in and mess up, to, if you're hiding, you're going to get infiltrated. And this is for the Black community because we are paranoid. But I see people saying, hey, let's go underground and try to figure out something. No, we can't go underground anymore. Back in the day, you might have been able to go underground because you couldn't get tracked, but everybody's getting tracked. Hell, you might have something in your body that's helping you get tracked. That people say, I don't know if it's true, and I don't want to spread any misinformation. But some people say the vaccines had some nanobots in them or something like that, or the people in Japan got nanobots from their vaccine. I don't know, but going that underground route, that's dead. Right, that's dead. You will be tracked. Let's show the world what we're about to do. It's fun. It's going to be fun. Think about it. One day I could call up the account and on the phone, and one day it says $18 million is in the account. One day I can call up the phone for the audit and they can say $100 million in the account. Right? Raising the money, doing the things that we are supposed to do. And just like I said, there'll be checks and balances. Literally, 9 people may have to check off before you extract any money from that account. So how do I make money for doing this? Like, subscribe, and share. That's it. Like, subscribe, and share. That's enough money for me. If we get this pushed out by liking, subscribing, and sharing, if we get this pushed out to the rest of the country and the world, because we want a similar organization in Africa. We want to be able to connect with our African brothers, right? And even in Europe, we want to be able to connect with our African bros over there because they have very, 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 very similar issues. Very similar. Very, very, very similar. So wherever we are, and this exists, you're the melanated. You're getting oppressed in some type of way, or you're getting attacked. And again, I'll ask the question, why is that? They know something about you that you don't know about yourselves. They know something about you that you don't know about you. We'll talk about it later, but let's continue on with the presentation. Just like I said, we'll have membership benefits, to unlock the total potential of the membership. We're going to have to put businesses in there, right? But what we can do is we can get like-minded people to help change this whole situation that we're in. People that really, really, really want a better society for everybody. Because everybody can work in this business. It's not a black run. It's not a black um exclusively black people. This is for everybody, any and everybody that want to work and want to change the direction that they're in or going in, like work all the time. And you're not able to spend any time with your family, and you're not able to have fun and get out and do the things that's necessary to be a human being. If you can't do that, this business is for you. This cooperative structure is for you. If you're not able to do that, this is for you. And I'm going to tell you, collaborating with teams is one of the most exciting things you can do. What this society has done has separated made us individuals. I'm going to say it again. What the society has done has separated us and made us individuals. They've even broken down families, especially African American family. We have a whole generation of women that didn't want to have babies because it was more attractive to them to have a career, and it's okay, that's fine. But imagine if that group of women that got all of those degrees, you're the ones that own the degrees, you're the most educated. What kind of black males could you have raised? You talk about the black males, and people talk about the black males so bad, but what kind of black males could you have produced? Think about that for a second. That's sometimes I just wonder about that, because I know some incredible women out there. Incredible. What kind of moms would they have been? I'm not downing you. I'm not saying anything that negative about you, because you're great women. But as opposed to you seeing these knuckleheads run around here killing each other, you could have raised some that didn't. You could have raised doctors, lawyers, dentists, farmers. You could have raised them. But I'm not, just like I said, I'm not attacking you. I don't want you to feel attacked. I'm just thinking about the incredible women that you are and the incredible people that you could raise. Just my thoughts. All right. So I'm going to go through the rest of it pretty quickly. Just like I said, we can unlock some potential with benefits and things like that. But here's what you probably been waiting on. How much is it going to be? Like I said, $18 a month. $18 a month for people that just want to just be a part of the business, the organization. All right. And for the people who will work the ride share and work the delivery and all the businesses that we bring about, we're asking, and anybody else who wants to share in this profit, it's $108 a month. All right. And we can change it. But I thought that would be the number. And the reason why I thought it would be the number is because we need to prepare for the future, right? I want to buy some of these Tesla robots so we can keep the community clean. I want to put some of these Tesla robots in the community and have it go around and pick up paper all day. That's what I want to do. That's $20,000, right? I want to put some of these Tesla robots in some of these elderly people homes so that they can clean their homes, right? And help with the chores around. And then you go back and pick that Tesla robot up. These are the things that we could do with a bunch of money. Right? So I'm just throwing things out there. Okay? And this could be a viable way to make it happen. We can make it happen. And if we have cooperative development, community ownership, that brings along economic empowerment. We're empowering the community by providing these things, by being a central organization that overlooks all of these things, that being a central organization that spits out other businesses for profit businesses. The only reason why I'm doing these cooperative businesses here is because there are businesses out here that are predatory. And a lot of them have minorities working for them. Hell, it's been such a bad economy in the Biden administration. I see some white folks out here, some middle class white folks doing DoorDash with, and they driving a Volvo, a 2021 Volvo, beautiful, like luxury car Volvo. That's how bad the Biden administration was for you. I've seen 65-year-old white people doing DoorDash. It's something going on, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this is just an aside. If these gig economy jobs didn't come about, we would have had the biggest economic crash in history. The gig economy saved the Biden administration. I don't know if it's going to save the Trump administration, because he's going to have a hard time too. But one thing that I can say about Trump is he's going to try some things. It may not work. It may work. We don't know, but we don't know what's going to happen with it. And the thing is, I'm going to call balls and strike. If it don't work, I'm going to talk bad about him. If it do work, I'm going to talk good about him. That's just how I'm going to do. But in an interim, got to pull together, because we don't know what's going to happen. That's the one thing that we just don't know. If you think that it's not going to affect you, I think you're wrong. It might not affect the billionaires and the super millionaires, but everybody else is going to be affected. Because essentially the dollar is really worth 30 cents. Really? Because of inflation? The dollar is really worth like 30 cents. Right? So if that reality comes to fruition, because we've had such a incredible run, and the markets is holding up everything, and the Federal Reserve is just printing out money and just throwing money in the air. So it's really been holding everything up. The stock market is very, it's like strings holding it together. Like it's like a huge weight with strings holding it together, and then those strings are gonna pop, and this whole thing is gonna come tumbling down. One of the reasons why I ended up in jail is because I was a trader, and I lost all my money trading, and I did some dumbass things to make up for it. That's how I ended up in jail. I was a trader. I was a market trader. I'm a pretty good one too. But I took too much risk, and I ended up in prison because I just didn't want to. I was so embarrassed and didn't want to admit that I lost all my money. This may happen to you in the next 2 years. You may lose all your money, and then you're going to be looking for things to do, right? This may happen. I'm not at all secure mentally about this economy. I don't care who would have came to the office, Trump or Kamala. You're going to have a hard time with this economy. But I see you trying to get ahead of it, Trump, and I understand what you're trying to do in some aspects with the tariffs and everything, but it better work. It better work, because if it doesn't, it's going to fall back on the people. But what we can do to mitigate the losses, to mitigate the hard times, is to come together and pool together the resources that we have so that we can have a decent life and live a decent life during that hard time and those struggles. Pulling together is what we need to do, because there's going to be some people hungry. Yeah, it's going to happen. And you say, hey, well, why didn't you vote for Kamala? Well, it was going to happen to Kamala too. But I knew that Kamala would go the entire just let me stop talking about politics, because y'all gonna get mad at me and not gonna be involved in my organization. So I want you to just look at the plan. If you don't like the plan, tell me. Hey, Hitch, this I don't believe in that. I don't think it worked. I don't think it'll work. Why do you think it'll work, Hitch? And I can explain it. Because I've been thinking about it for a long time. I've been working on this for like 9 months. And I've been thinking about it for 2 years. Right? So it's not that in depth. It's not that it's not very difficult to follow. But these are the things that I want to do. Like, I want to go into the urban areas and do garden projects and things like that. Open up art centers, beautify the neighborhood. See, that's the thing that I said yesterday about the Nation of Islam. And I'm not picking on the Nation of Islam, because they do a lot of great things for the community. You know, they do a lot of great things. You know, I don't believe in them because they say the white man is the devil, and Master Muhammad was half white. It just didn't register with me. But this is what I say to those who say we are the gods of the earth and the gods of the universe. If you were the gods of the universe, you would beautify your area. That's the first thing that you would do, is you would beautify your area. You would make sure that your area is clean, that your neighborhoods are clean, that it's not full of crime, because that dirties up the area. Crime is not beautiful. Look how the God created the earth and beautified it. Look how beautiful it is. Right? So the first thing that you do as a God, if you claim you know, that's what you claim you are, the first thing that you do is beautify your area. Simple as that. So this is what I want to do, is I want to beautify our areas. I want to put things together that makes living in certain areas just as beautiful as living anywhere else. Just the spirit of it and just the energy of it would be beautiful. And, you know, I'm putting this up. You can look at it. You can look at it's a decent plan that could be expounded upon, or we can scrap it all together and start over. Right? We can scrap it all together and start over. We have a lack of resources. We don't have enough community engagement. But if we can build some sustainable models, some sustainable business models and structures, cooperatives that we can work together on, I believe it can work, right? I believe it can work. So, do I want to go national with this? Yes, I do. Yes, I want to go national with it. But we start in one area. We'll pick the area, right? But since I'm already in Winston-Salem, we can do the Triad area. All right. But the biggest thing about this entire organization is the transparency. The transparency and the trust will be 24/7. Right? We have the technology to do an audit every day. We can see everything. You can look at the count and you can do an audit every single day. I can report to you every single day how much is in the account. And how do I get paid? Like, subscribe, and share. That's where my money will come from. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll put some ads on this thing. That's the only money I want to take, because the money that goes into the account goes towards the business, right? This is the biggest thing that we have to preach. And we're talking to, we had that argument about Black excellence, and I understand why there's a term called Black excellence. I understand it. I was trying to, help you understand that the only reason why there's a term called Black excellence is because of the oppression that you've been through. So there's another excellence that can come from you, African American. You imagine if you weren't trauma bonded and traumatized by some of the things that's happening in your community. Now, there's a lot of people that's not traumatized. I agree with that. I know that. But imagine if you weren't traumatized, what type of excellence would you have then? What type of excellence would you conceive in your mind of what excellence is? What if the white excellence wasn't the standard? What if the standard was what you created? What if the standard of excellence is something that you create? So thought. And that's where I'm coming from. We create the excellence standard. We should be the standard bearer for excellence. So we should build a better future with this type of situation if we were come together as a community. Let's do it. I said it in my last podcast. Chancellor Williams said it'd take 1,000 years, 1,000 years to get over this hatred, this self-hatred that this system has heaped upon you. The only way that you're going to be able to get this hatred out of you is to create something of your own and bond together to do it and show yourself, to show you yourself that you can do it. When Osiris went into that sarcophagus and they cut up his body, Isis came to rescue him and put him back together. It's an old myth that came from Egypt. I think it was a prophecy, but she put them back together. We need our black women to come and put Osiris back together. That's the black male. And come into an organization and bind together to create a better future and the legacy that we leave for our children. I respect the white man for that reason alone, that he wants to leave a legacy. I'll be damned if you take any type of power away from them. They give you the DEI, and then you turn around and you notice that the white woman is getting more than the African American in a DEI program. Great trick. So what you have to do is build it on your own. Build the structure on your own. Don't rely on anybody else. Come together, bond together, and build it for yourselves. All right. This is the end of my presentation. Hey, I will give a synopsis on my next podcast and just kind of give an overview of what we're talking about, how we proceed. I'd like some input. Leave some comments. Please. Hey, if it's a bad plan, it's a bad plan. We talk about the money, talk about whatever you want to talk about. Like, share, and subscribe. Post TRT. Jimmy Hitchcock. I'm out.